Right, today we're going to go through some hints and tips about this part of the project. I've had a few students getting this wrong. So just a reminder, this circuit at the top over here with the single resistant LED is the silver badge on its own, but the gold badge is this circuit and this circuit together. I'm just going to quickly run through some of the issues that we come up across with this circuit. If you look at this circuit, you'll note that there are 3 LEDs and 3 resistors. And you'll also note that at the top, on the positive side, they're all connected together on the positive side, but on the negative side, they're not. They're all connected together as well, but they're not connected together in the middle over here. So what I normally get, obviously I've only got 2 resistors here. This is the kind of thing we normally get. We've got the power coming in here on the red wire, going through a resistor, through a LED, and quite often I get students connecting it like this, but hopefully you'll spot that these are not connected together. Over here there is a gap. If you want to connect something to the other side of this resistor, then this would need to go there, so they are connected together. Then obviously if you look down here, it's not connected to the negative, so this would need to move up one as well. And again, the same would have to happen on that side as well. The problem that you've got here is that although the positives are connected and the negatives are connected, these are now all connected in the middle over here, as those two are connected via the same track. And popping back to here, you'll see they are not connected over here. So you've got one of 2 options. You can either come along to connectivity, and down here there's an option for trace cut. So you can either put a trace cut in there, and that breaks the track between those. So that's one of the options. And the other option, which is probably a little bit simpler, is to just put these on different rows. So if I move that like that, and then move this down like that, and move that down, you'll note those 2 are connected, but they're not connected to anything else on that row. And the same on this side, those 2 are connected, they're not connected to anything else on that row. Then you can put the last resistor down to this row, and the LED next to that down to there, depending on what you have. So that's a common mistake that I made here when doing this circuit. Popping back to this circuit, most of these components you'll have seen before, you're quite used to them, but there are 2 components in here that you haven't used too many times. You've used this in year 7 in the door buzzer project, and the LDR we've used in the the LDR we'll use a few times in the future. But just a few little notes. This is the transistor, and this is an LDR, a light dependent resistor. The transistor has 3 legs. This leg over here is called the collector. This is the base, and this is the emitter. Now, looking at the actual chip, when we look at it, this is what a transistor looks like. There are many different forms, but the one that you'll find on DIY-ILC looks like this. And if you look at it, it's a half moon shape. I don't know if you can see there. There's a half moon shape. And then the pin on the flat edge, to the left of that, is the collector. The middle one is the base, and the end one is the emitter. And coming back to DIY-ILC, let me just delete these off here. Coming back to DIY-ILC, you'll find transistors under semiconductors, and here you will see the transistor. You can see there are a number of different shapes, but we're going to use this one down here. Double click on that and bring it across there like that. And you'll see there's that half moon shape that you can see in the transistor. You can see the half moon shape. They're all over the place. All right. Now, looking at the flat edge, that pin is the collector. So if I come along to here, there's my flat edge. It means this pin here is the collector, the middle pin is the base, and the other pin is the emitter. But what you'll also notice is that the 3 pins are going across 2 rows, which doesn't really work because they need to each have a row on their own. And in Born to Invent, we do tell you over here, it says find the transistor, and one of the things you need to do is change the spacing to 0.1 of an inch to fit them on their own tracks alone. So what you need to do is right click on here, go edit selection, and down here change it to 0.1 of an inch. And now you'll see each pin has its own track. Alright, so this is the collector, this is the base, and this is the emitter. And now you can connect resistors and LEDs and whatever you need to from there. The only other thing to note, which we'll get a few questions off as well, and it does tell you this, you will not find an LDR on DIY-ILC. So it says what we're going to do is we're going to change it with a normal resistor. And so as it says, substitute this with a normal resistor. So just a reminder, this is the LDR. You won't find it on DIY-ILC. You'll just use a normal resistor, which you'll find under passive components. Passive. There is your normal resistor, and you'll stick it on between the base and ground, as there's the base to the ground, as this circuit shows over there. It goes from the base to ground. And hopefully those little hints and tips will help you. Obviously, you'll need to go and add in your other resistors and your LEDs and things like that. But that is the transistor, and we're just going to symbolize the LDR with a resistor. And hopefully you find that very helpful. Thank you.